minus, Kwako.
Since there's Nokia today, reset has to be HTC, then reset is iPhone, then
Go back to minus. We're good to go. Where am minus? Go for it.
I'm just fed up.
Hey.
we're back.
Yes, you're back. We're back. Okay, I don't know, it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know, but it's been a while. And I hope everybody else is enjoying the previous ones. The last one was love, sex, and money. Things that drive us. And okay, there's a lot of things that we talked about, and I think it needs a part 2. So this is part 2. Love, sex, and money, part 2. There's a lot of things. So recap.
Wow.
Recap. We should say hi. How you doing? You all right? Okay, we got to check in, right? We got to check in.
Yeah, all right isn't. Yeah, well, it depends on how you want to define. All right.
Is it understatement?
Breathing? Yeah, I'm breathing.
You're breathing.
Yeah.
Okay, you're limping, but you're breathing.
Chris, don't get me started so early. Like, no, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm all right.
I loved how you defined it. You said love. Love is the
assurance of affection.
Yeah, and I kept that. I kept going with it, and I said, "Nah, that's just deep." Assurance of affection, that you're going to be assured that you're going to get affection, so you will go and you find it and you do the most to get it. I'm talking from a man's point of view because we're guys here. Women probably got it different. They might have the same thing.
What, that they don't do the most?
I think women do too much.
Sorry?
Yeah, they do too much.
Women do too much.
They do too much.
They do too much.
It's too much. It's cryptic. It's hidden.
Oh, if you go there.
It's never just black and white. We talked about that. There's all the shades of gray and areas are going to.
They're the ones that have 50 shades of gray.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we're just black or white.
Exactly. We talked about that. We talked about money. We talked about the kids. How nowadays money is seen differently. How it's approached. We talked about sex. How
it's overrated.
Yeah, sex is overrated.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta challenge you that one, and I'll start on that one.
Shucks.
Chris, I think
man. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I think sex is wonderful with the right person, and I know you're gonna come back with me about that one, but with the right person, it's wonderful. If done in the right sort of environment and space, space is the word you'd use. Space, it is very rewarding, very, very rewarding. Because it provides what I think should be the connection that you need with someone. Sex is a whole different language out there. It's not even the usual, it's a tool. It's a dangerous tool.
No, my silence is because I'm thinking. Yeah,
I know. I know. I'm dropping lines that you're going to challenge me on this, but I think that's too. And the romantic side of it says that you should be having sex with the person that you're going to be with. But of course, the world is turned it upside down. We've got sex tapes, which are now being used as self-promotion so that they can get a marketing gig. So it's been really made very cheap out there. But is sex the ultimate expression of love?
Is sex the ultimate what?
Expression
of love. No.
Is sex the ultimate expression
of love? No. No. Categorically no. Emphatically no. There's no nonsense like that. Sex is not the ultimate expression of love. It never was. Never was.
Okay.
It never was. It isn't, and it never will be the ultimate expression of love.
Whoa.
Never will be.
So it's a tool.
It's a tool. Sex, I think I mentioned it the last time. Sex is an expression, not an expression. Sex is a celebration.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. And what you are celebrating is you're celebrating the joy of being in each other's space.
Okay.
That's all it is. You are celebrating the fact that you are comfortable in each other's immediate environment, in each other's space. You're comfortable in each other's nakedness. Let me quantify that.
Whoa.
Not nakedness as in you've taken off your clothes, but nakedness as in you've exposed yourselves to each other.
So you're vulnerable.
You're vulnerable.
Wow.
And you're celebrating that you are vulnerable to somebody who is all you perceive as being vulnerable to you.
Why do you always have to say perceived there?
Because there are some times when
Women lie?
okay, whether Jonah swallowed the whale or the whale swallowed Jonah, there's just no there's swallowing there. So so it's there's the perception of vulnerability.
Okay.
And then that perception becomes your reality, because any perception is reality. Hence why there's a lot of makeup. Hence why people love putting mag wheels and spray paint, because there's a perception that the car is fantastic, but really it's just a bunch of balls. But anyway, another topic. But
no, it's actually in line, because if you say it, that, forgive me, but I'm going to say it.
Why?
People lie
Daily.
Yeah. So if it's a celebration, it could be the celebration of two different things that both of you don't even correlate on. Your perception of it is totally something different. You could be saying, "Apanda diwagap, dunya so diwagap." No, it's not really what I love you. It's just that you have done something for me.
We'll take a cough break. Well, look, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you, and it makes so much sense what you're saying. That the two of you have a different understanding of the celebration. But I'll just stick with what I've that sex is celebration of vulnerability. It's not the ultimate expression of love, because you cannot say to somebody, "I love you," and then have sex. Although that is the common thread right now with some of these yuppies, these young and upcomings. I love you. Okay, so show me how you love me. And you have sex. No, that's not the way it goes.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, sex is when you can be comfortable in somebody's space.
Yeah.
And there's a song by Ronan Keating.
Oh gosh. Okay. I knew you were gonna drop music.
He's got this. It says, "You say it best when you say nothing at all."
Yeah, that's a nice line.
Yeah,
that's a nice line.
And I like the song. I'm just old school like that. You don't have to say anything to prove that you love someone. I remember writing something on my status that said, when you get to a point of having to say "I love you," you've lost the point.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it, but you can show it, and you can experience being comfortable in somebody's space. When you got that place where there's the awkward silence.
Yeah.
If you get to a place where you're always having awkward silence, you're not comfortable.
No, you're not. I always say that, and I said it to someone once, that your soul doesn't agitate mine. Because when the soul agitates you, you're uncomfortable. Like you're saying, it's an awkward silence.
Yeah.
You're having, I've got to say something. I've got to say something smart. And I'm trying to remember. Hell no, I don't have to. I'll drive all the way to Nyang and back, and I won't have to say anything.
That's it.
But
and when
we're smiling.
There we go. So when you're in that space, and you're in a comfortable space, and you're so relaxed, you don't have to say anything. Not because there's nothing to say. No. There's just so much intensity that saying something is not going to resolve, or is not going to dissipate that intensity. But you value the time. I remember I said you make time to spend time.
Yes. And
because you're spending that time, there's just so much intensity that you're so comfortable in somebody's space. Having sex is, you don't even plan it. You don't even say, "Today I'm going to have it." But it's a natural progression, if I can use that. You've got to change from gear 1 to gear 2. You know what I mean? And it's natural, because in one gear you've reached the rev limit for the speed in that gear. And then you go to the next. It's not that you're laboring for it, but you're just enjoying it. And so sex then becomes a celebration of the fact that you are together. Okay. I don't know who's going to listen to this, but when you get to the point where, while you're being intimate, and I'll use intimacy different from sex. Sex and intimacy are two different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sex is just intercourse.
Okay.
Yeah. Intimacy is being able to be vulnerable to each other, in each other, and with each other. That's when you're intimate.
Okay.
So you can be intimate without having sex. People need to understand that.
And I think a lot of people don't. And I think that's what got us all fed up about it.
Exactly.
WhatsApp almost removes all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. you remember we talked about it last time that you could write a letter and it'll be gone for 2.5 weeks. There's no reply. No way of knowing that if somebody's actually received it and what the reply will be, but you would wait. With the wait. And I think there's a level of intimacy that's different nowadays where people don't write letters anymore. Well, those who don't. We know a couple that do. But it's different. And I like the way you put it. It's just that I'm yeah, he's the postman in his other life, if you didn't know. How many letters are you on now?
Hey, guy.
Yeah, I wrote 6 in one day.
No, I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad.
But you know, just going back to that, writing a letter now, I think that's a level of discipline. And I'll run it back in that intimacy and celebration and expression of love, wherever it might be, takes a level of discipline.
Yes.
That a lot of people don't have.
I'm with you.
Yeah, especially how you even put it together. Like, you can't go to gear 3 without going through gear 2.
Yeah.
From gear 1.
Yeah.
If you don't have that level of discipline to be able to be intentional.
Yes.
And vulnerable.
Yeah.
You don't get to that next level.
Yeah.
Okay. And then sex and intimacy, the way you broke it apart, becomes real. Where sex in the part you've said just now, it becomes reproductive.
Yeah, that's all it is. For the most, it's just being reproductive, and that's when you get everybody's like, I need to go. I'm a stallion. Marathon. I'm just I just leave with tired guy. Fine, she's tired. Then what?
And you rack up the numbers.
Exactly, and then what? Whereas if sex is not a celebration of the relationship that you have and the intimacy you have, what it does now is sex is not a box that you tick off. Sex is snap. You know what? I just had a great time. And wow, and then you have sex, and it takes it to the next. I wouldn't say next level, but it just how can I do it? How can I say it? It's more permanent.
Yeah.
It leaves something in you.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for. When you have, like I said, that love is an assurance of affection.
Yeah.
And then sex is a celebration of that assurance. What you're doing now is everything is it's now a cycle. A pleasant cycle. So you have the sex as a celebration, and then tomorrow you're gonna think, snap, what can I do for? So one of the things I used to say way back in the day is a lot of women, when they become wives, they take out the aspect of being women, being, sexy, being kinky, being that person that you long to see, and they end up being the nag, most of the time. They end up being that one when you're like, really? Am I going home again at this time?
I got a theory on that. And thank you for bringing that in. I didn't think you were going to bring it up so quick.
No, because, you started it, And so you're like, snap, And so what ends up happening is you no longer have the intimacy.
Yeah.
Because you're like, snap. Is this it?
Yeah.
Is this what I was looking forward to?
I know what
and then I remember I mentioned in the last podcast, yes. And then once that happens, you there's no longer that pizzazz. And so sex no longer becomes a celebration, becomes a chore.
Yes,
You just have to do it.
Yeah.
And especially if you're then conditioned in the, I'm going to use it very bluntly, in the Christian mindset where there's a verse that says, do not deny each other. And then, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be
like you
convicted.
got a bath.
Yeah, you got a bath, you got to brush your teeth,
you got to brush your hair.
You know what I mean? So you then don't want to not have sex, because if you don't have it, there'll be questions.
Excellent.
Why not? What's going on? I mean, what the fudge? You know what I mean? And in you're like, you know what? I'm just doing it because I'm just doing it. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm not there because there's no assurance. All you're seeing on my forehead is ATM machine. You know what I mean? Cleaning tool. You know what I mean? We've broken it down. So there's no longer celebration.
I think I spoke to you just this week, and I was throwing that idea with him. We were talking about what we're going to do for this one. Is a friend of mine. Again, I keep going back. He's a guy I work with, my business partner. and we're talking about this because that's what guys do. We do talk a lot about this thing.
Every day,
when
my
we're working
gosh.
and stuff, we're talking about
Yeah.
this. We may say that we don't communicate. We do talk a lot.
We just communicate to the
Wrong people.
as far as they're concerned.
So he said to me, and we were breaking it down, that exactly how you said it, that what happens to all of that? When we're dating, it was like fun, we're excited, we're chasing each other, we're like anxious about getting that text or that message. What happens to it? And he said to me, the problem is we bring in the word forever.
No.
Wait,
Chris.
let me quantify
No,
this. Let me
Chris,
quantify
no, no,
this. Let me quantify this.
Okay, all right.
You
okay.
just said it. You walked right into this one.
Yeah, I did.
So the problem is the word forever, and we've got to have we've got a problem with this. When you're told this is forever, your mind immediately calculates all of it and runs the numbers and it does forever, and you used it. Jairana, my way. I'm stuck with this guy, whom I like. Let's use the numbers everybody's told. I like 80% of him. I don't have 100%. I got 80% of him.
That's another topic, but anyway, I'll continue.
Flip, so I'm stuck with forever. So forever then presets your mind back into, flip. I'm not going to be excited anymore. It's there. I'm going to get it whether I like to or not. It's going to look like that whether I like it or not. In fact, it's going to get worse as it gets older. And that kills it. It brings in my thing that I was saying to you, that if sex is not is the celebration of it, the word forever kills it. It brings in the context of I should not promise you. Because if I do not promise you and tomorrow is not promised to you, you will do the most. You see where I'm going?
No.
Yeah,
no,
there you go.
No. Pause. No.
No
come
way.
On, come on,
No
Chris.
way.
No. Look. Okay. Forever. I had to look it up. Forever means a limitless time.
Imagine that.
No. Here's the deal. You're coming from the perspective of somebody who's already fed up.
Yeah.
That's why forever is a mission. But look at it this
No.
way.
Even when they get married.
No, look at it this way.
Yeah.
Look at it this way.
Yeah.
In line of that Shona word, Kujairana.
Mm-hmm.
Kujairana has a negative impact, whereas then you are just complacent.
Mm-hmm.
You are familiar, and so when forever kicks in, you're like, come on, this is nonsense. But look at forever in this angle. Forever means you would like more time to celebrate. You would like more time to create an environment to celebrate. And so forever for you is saying, I want to have limitless time to show you how much you mean to me.
Never discuss the topic with you before we get to it. You were prepared for that one. You were prepared with that one.
Yeah, but then the moment you said it that day, I thought of one of my favorite tracks. I'll digress for 2 seconds. Michael Jackson had Thriller.
Yes. Classic, guys. It's
Yeah.
amazing. You should look it up.
Yeah, Michael Jackson had Thriller. TLC, I think they had Creep and Waterfalls. Whitney Houston had what's that song that she did via that
Dolly Parton song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. And then in my opinion, this is my opinion, Chris Brown had Forever.
Chris Brown has got a song that's cool.
Ooh, Chris Brown.
I know he dances, man.
Ooh, Chris
I know he
Brown.
can move. Yeah.
Guy.
Really?
Chris Brown is hectic.
Okay, our producer has to
Okay.
look that up. I gotta find that track.
Chris Brown is hectic. He's, you know, if you believe in that whole thing when somebody dies, they leave their energy, they leave
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Chris Brown grabbed Michael Jackson's
What?
essence. Michael
What?
Jackson. Whoa, Chris Brown is hectic, boss.
Sorry,
And
Tavi. I'm so sorry that he said this.
Yeah.
Blasphemous. I'm sorry.
Michael Jackson was a storyteller in his videos.
Yes, he was.
Did you notice
Incredible.
how Chris Brown started doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know how Chris Brown is starting using kids and just being out there? His videos. Did you notice that?
Okay. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
anyway, we digress. So, Forever by Chris Brown. One of the lyrics, it's like I waited my whole life for this one night. You know, and talking about it's going to be me, you on the dance floor. Because we only got one night. Yeah. But it's forever. He wants to make it last forever. Yeah. What do you want to last forever? The excitement, the
Yes.
joy.
Yes.
For you to do the most.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is where forever kicks in. Not in a negative way, but in a positive way. I can't wait. But you know what I mean? And so you've got that element. And but you feel that you're falling short. Because every time you see the significant other, or it doesn't have to be relationship wise, even at work, you're like, oh snap, I can't wait till tomorrow. Not that you have failed or not that you have done something wrong, but you're like, I can't wait until tomorrow. And so for your forever will always be there. Yeah. And so if your forever is like, I can't wait until tomorrow, because we're going to use all our definitions. I can't wait until tomorrow because I need to have a limitless time to show you that I'm celebrating the fact that you're giving me an assurance of affection. Make sense? Just agree, Chris. Don't be funny. Okay, I know you're just pissed off because for you, in the back of your mind, is like, fuck love. Sex is overrated and money's the new side chick. But I'm tuning you now. I'm telling you now. Okay.
I love the way you came with that. It's nice and strong. Yeah. You know what? That just leads me to?
What?
If that is the case, and that is so, and I'm going to use this word, utopic and so perfect, like, and everything else, why is it there's always one that got away?
You want me to tell the producer to press pause because
Pause.
Chris, because the one that got away.
Yes, because for me, everything you say, if it makes sense and it follows in that sort of line, then there's a problem. And that's why life is flawed that way. Life is flawed that way.
If we talk about dealing with the one that got away, we have to deal with the realities of the one that's there.
The one that you settled with.
Oh my gosh, yo.
Why'd you settle if love promises you a celebration that's limitless and it's there forever going? Tell me. You brought in that line, you brought in this for me, and you said that's what it is. And you know what? I was setting you up for it.
Yeah, and I didn't see myself. I walked right into that one. Snap. Shucks.
Why is the one that got away?
Although shucks is not the word I wanted to use. The one that got away.
And everybody's got one. Let nobody ever lie to you.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your grandparents.
Everybody.
Everyone's got the one that got away.
Yes.
It is not a crime to allow your car to run out of fuel.
Are you driving the car that you love?
Yes.
Good.
But at a specific moment in time, you did not. Let me put it this way. The very first car that you got.
Yes.
You saved for it. It was yours.
Yes.
But you still didn't know how much you had in the reserve tank. You didn't know how many Ks you could travel.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And so when it runs out,
yes,
it's not the fault of the car.
Okay.
It's not the car's fault.
Yes.
It gave you an indication, but you didn't read it effectively.
Okay.
And you were not prepared for it.
So I should be prepared for it.
You need to be.
To lose the one.
Not to lose the one, but I think okay. let me because I think everybody's listening to this right now. It's like, right, stop everything. I'm waiting. Chris, man. I think the words I can use now is, if you're in a situation where there's that one, my gosh, I need to be very careful with what I'm going to say, is you need to be prepared to fail. But once you've understood that you need to be prepared to fail, you need to be prepared to pick up the pieces immediately afterwards. The one that got away because we're very naive and we had no freaking idea how to pick up the pieces later. That is it. And that goes, this is a gender equality based, gender equal statement, regardless. Yeah. You were not ready for the flip side of the coin.
Okay, so I wasn't ready. Can I be ready?
You can be ready.
Can I find them?
Find who?
The one that got away.
No, I need to find out what you mean. Do you want to find as in you want to go back and find them, or?
I like what you said. I think life is too short.
It's just yesterday, guy, we were in high school.
Yeah.
Just yesterday in primary school.
Yeah, and we found the one then, huh? And it was too short.
Dude.
And I think we can't live it with second best, and by that settling. And I think a lot of us settle. Now, this could also go to a job. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? And your definition of the celebration of love and everything else has led me to this sort of because you know what, I want everybody to be fed up with living a second-class life. It doesn't matter where you are. You might be in Zimbabwe, New York, wherever you might be.
Chris,
let's be honest.
All I can see is just people just pinging and just responding, and oh my gosh.
Why do we settle if you first off found the one and you said you're not ready, but you can be ready? You can be
At the time, Chris,
Yeah.
you're not ready.
Okay, fair enough.
At the time, you're not ready.
Yeah.
And so when the one that got away, you had no idea how to get him back or get her back. I had to start with him.
Let's balance that right.
You're not ready on how to get them back. You didn't know how to get them back, because at the time it was all about you wanting to
Do the most.
to do the most. And so when the brown stuff hit the fan,
Yeah.
you couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
And you didn't know how to deal with it. And so you hadn't prepared yourself to figure, not that you're supposed to prepare yourself, but you were just not aware of how to deal with it to get them back. And vice versa. Whether it's the lady that has left or the one that got away, she wasn't prepared to deal with how to accept you back. So the two of you are in a state of naivety.
Cool.
So now you don't settle for second best. What happens is, because it becomes once bitten, twice shy, you try to make sure the next time you don't do the same thing.
You settle, man.
And then, exactly. You don't do the same thing, so you settle so that you keep going.
Wow. So you just like you give up.
Oh yes, you give up not because the one you're settling for is hopeless. No, you just give up within yourself in that regard.
Ooh.
In that regard, we all do it. We all do it. That's why it's hitting you hard. We all do it.
That's the problem. Yeah, this will hit hard because I think, and I'm going to say 100% of us settle.
You settle.
Yeah, we
and
settle.
then what you do is you try to do the most where you've settled. You try.
And then midlife hits you and you
And
suddenly
then,
realize.
And then when midlife hits you, you're like, what the fudge?
I had a friend.
I had to.
I had a friend. And they met someone a couple years back, kids. And they didn't know what they had. And I'm trying to think, because you said naivety.
Oh, Janet Jackson sounds, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, Janet Jackson. Shout out to Janet.
And they're cruising through life because people settle. Then they meet up with that one, whom they didn't realize that that was the one. That's the other thing I want you to know about, is that you don't realize that they were the one until you meet up with them. And a good friend of mine was like,
Chris, we're here for a limited time. We haven't done the other two. We're still dealing with this.
we got life. We got life. And they got to a point and they suddenly realized, so this is what I've been missing? It goes back to that. Life is short. I mean, all of us have had people die. This whole pandemic is killing everybody else. And to me, it's made me realize that. And in midlife,
It does.
It made me realize that I don't want to not experience what I'm supposed to experience. And when I'm supposed to experience all the good stuff, the celebratory stuff you're talking about, where intimacy is like the ultimate reward for being in that perfect non-speaking sort of relationship. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why would I want to deny myself? So these people got to that point. They got to that point and suddenly realized, flip it, man. So this is what I've been missing? And all this time, they'd settled. And you're right. When you don't know how good something is, you're oblivious to it. What they say, ignorance is
bliss, eh?
until you become aware.
That's why they say knowledge is power.
Exactly. Exactly. So, what do? Do they stop and suddenly say, no, let me go back to what I'm settled and comfortable with, that I know? Like you said, people get into something that they know and they want to work with that. Or do you experience the most amazing thing that you've ever experienced in your life?
Chris, you're making me think. Man.
What the fudge?
Fudge. Look, man.
Let me bring you to cars. What's your dream car?
My dream car is a 1995 Mercedes 600 SEL.
Ooh.
Not the 90. It's the late 94 into 95, because that had 408 brake horsepower. They had to derate it about 396 because of fuel emissions.
Yeah.
So the first gen Mercedes 600 SEL. There's a W140. My gosh, they did the most on that car. That is it. They did the most.
Are you driving your dream car right now?
I've got the previous generation. I've got the 126.
So you're not driving your dream car?
No, I'm not driving my dream car.
Yeah.
But
Did you notice how your tone in your voice changed? So when he was describing, for those who don't see what we're doing here, when he was describing his dream car, he closed his eyes. He looked up and he was flawless. Did you notice that there was no break in his tone, in his voice? I asked him about the car he's driving right now. Everything totally changed.
Look, I mean, they're both S classes. I mean, the one I've got is an S class. Oh, it's wicked. It's a dream. It's smooth, and it's one of those. People think they can take me out, but
his eyes are open right now.
They realize that they're a bit of more that they could chew. But that 600 SE.
His eyes are closed now.
It was the first ever S class to have ESP as standard, electronic stability control. The mirror, the mirror, the rear view mirror inside.
Yep.
You don't use your hands to adjust it. There's actually a knob. You can adjust it electronically.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The first S class to have folding mirrors, door mirrors, double paned, double glazed windows. That thing is just to this day, it was the daddy of S classes. I mean, the one I drive, we digress. The one I drive was the best-selling S class ever in the history of Mercedes-Benz. The one that I drive, the best-selling. So when they released my dream car, there was a worldwide economic downturn. So they couldn't get the sales that they wanted to. But that is the daddy of all S classes. All these new ones, everybody's gonna say, yeah, but that car is just hectic. So I'm not settling.
Let me prove my point right there.
No, because I knew you were getting it. You just let me go on.
Let me prove my point right there.
Before Chris says what he says, before he says what he says, I'm still in the vein of Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
I love that line, actually. I love that line.
Yeah, it's the best or nothing. So I'm still in the best or nothing. I'm not where I wanted to be. But you know what? What I got, I got.
Yeah, so I proved my point. For those who don't like cars, I'll just break it down for you. His dream car is the one that got away. The one he's driving, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It'll do. It will make you go through life. You'll be okay. You have that. It's cool. But flip, there's that car. The one that makes you close your eyes and whisper and go in such a tone.
Chris,
poetic.
Man,
and it goes that way. For me, that's my thing. I'm fed up with having to live life half beat. And I think Corona for me has really proved that for me.
Corona has made people think.
Exactly. And that's why this is we're here. Because for me, it's like, who are you going to be apologizing to that you don't want the best? If the one that got away walked right through the door right here, right now, what would happen?
So what I'll do is, for those that are going to listen to the podcast later, just jot down in the comments below and let us know what you would do if the one that got away walked in.
To me,
but here's the deal. I know I'll speak for everybody. I'll just speak for everybody. If the one that got away walked into your immediate environment, immediate space, you will cough, sputter for days.
That's true.
You will rethink of where you're supposed to be an hour from now.
I like that.
I will not lie.
Yep.
Because here's the deal. The one that got away, the reason why everybody is a bit cough sputtery about the one that got away is the one that got away understood you.
Without you having to try and explain yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They knew you before you were anybody. Ooh. They knew you before you were somebody. And in doing that, they understood your buttons.
Yeah.
They could push your buttons.
Yeah.
They knew what would excite you. They knew what would make you upset.
Yeah.
And you'd get angry today, but because there was such an intensity of emotion at the time, because it's the one that got away. Tomorrow you want to see them. That's where forever kicks in. That's where my definition of forever kicks in.
That's where I was going.
Because you're upset with each other, but tomorrow I can't wait to see them, and because I'm gonna apologize like nothing, and we're just gonna go on here. So the one that got away knows the buttons to push.
Yeah.
And because they know the buttons to push, the moment they walk in, regardless whether it's the guy to the girl or the girl to the guy, they don't have to say anything. Ron Keaton, you say it based on you say nothing wrong. It's a smile, or it's a smile with a tilt of the
Yeah, yeah.
head.
Yeah,
You know, the one that you just do something, or it's the way they rub their hands. You know, when it's cold or whatever,
Or they just walk in the room.
or it's the way they walk.
Yeah.
You know, or it's the way they
Laugh.
they eesh, boss. The way they will drink a drink. There's just
Double glazed folding
you know
mirrors.
because those are the things that you noticed
Yeah.
when you were together before. You notice all the little things because there's that song. Who sang it? It wasn't Jagged Edge. Who was it? Little things mean a lot. You know, appreciate what you got.
Yeah.
Who was it? Wasn't calling me back. I don't know. Put it on the link below.
yeah, you find it.
You know, it's little things. It's the little things that popped out that would always keep you on each other's toes. Go like, oh man, did you see what? Did you see this? Did you see this?
Yeah.
And those are the type of people when you gave them something, a gift, if it was a flower or an ice cream or whatever, there's a smile. And that smile said it all. Or they held your hand, and that's all it was. You know, it had nothing to do with how much money you had, because at that time there was no money.
No.
It had nothing to do with what job you had, because at that time you're starting out.
Yeah.
But it was all about you, and they were celebrating you. You understand?
Yeah.
We can digress and say when you're having sex, and sex is a celebration, and you're celebrating what? You're celebrating each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at this time, there was no sex going on at the time, because at that time we were young and naive. We had no clue, you know?
Holding
But
the hand was too much.
My God!
It was too much. My hand would be sweaty afterwards. And I wouldn't wash it. You know what I'm saying? We used to get letters, envelopes with perfume and stuff.
You know,
I
and
would
it's
keep
sealed
them.
with a kiss and all.
And for you kids, you know that before there was Facebook, there was this thing called auto books. I don't know if you knew about that. These huge counter books. And they'll put their pictures there, they'll write about you.
Shucks, yeah. So you're there.
Innocence.
So exactly. So
To me,
everything was
that's what it
just
is.
so. It was just so intense and innocent. So when they got away, people don't like using the word heartbreak because they think they're too old to identify with it. But your heart was broken,
I understand.
and your world falls apart.
Yeah.
I remember it got to a point where I've already started, so let me finish it off.
You didn't
I
eat.
got- no, I know I ate, but I realized I think months later, my dad spoke to my younger brother and said, "I'm worried about your brother."
Ooh.
And my young brother was
Oh.
like, "Why?" He goes, "Please watch him. I fear he might do something to himself."
Oh.
Because during the era of that one that got away, everybody could see the effects of that person in your life.
Yeah.
And so when they got away, those same people saw the effects of
Yeah.
that person leaving. And so it's one of those that everybody was aware. You know, so everybody's kind of so you then, because you got hurt, you build a wall.
You settle.
Yeah, no. Before you settle, because you got hurt, you build a wall
Yeah.
around yourself.
Yeah.
And so when somebody new comes in,
Yeah.
there are certain walls within you that you will never break
Yes.
because you've been hurt.
Yes.
And so when the one that got away comes back, because they know the buttons to push, they can break that wall
Simple.
they don't even have to blow on it. By just looking at you and the walls are broken. And that's a deadly place.
So fear stops you from actually going back to the one that got away.
Fear and naivety. Now here's
But
the
you're no
kicker.
longer naive anymore. You know
No,
what they do.
anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
But then because you're already in a different setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're already in a different setup.
Yeah.
At the time at which I got my S, I was not. I was wanting to get the dream car, but because I got this one now, I still think of my dream car. But now, the thought of I need to sell this one, the processes in selling this one, and then the topping up to get the one I want. There's just so much, you know, because I've already put so much into it.
Okay.
I got her, and I need to do the suspension.
Yeah.
I need to do the clutch. I got new speakers fitted in.
Yeah.
I got a radio in. So I've put so much into it.
Yeah.
So now the idea of getting rid of it to get the new one, yes, it's okay. But okay, those who say, "But guys, it's just a car." Yeah, we're talking about people. But
It's the same principle.
It's the same principle.
Yeah, it's the same
You see,
principle.
it's the same principle because there's so many dynamics around it. And unfortunately, my car is not a Bauer car. When I say Mahakata, in some households they've got the cars. Then there's this car Corolla, that can go anywhere in town and nobody will know.
No Jesus.
Yeah, that nobody knows. Who's that? But then mine is not a Mahakata. Mine is the color itself.
True.
There are only two,
In the whole
including
world.
it,
Yeah.
that I've seen in Harare.
Yeah.
And there was a day when I saw the twin, and I parked next to it.
And you got in the wrong car.
And the owner came out and he looked at my car, and I looked at his and said, yeah. When I say copy and paste, the only thing that is different from the outside are the rims. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the complexity of changing.
Yeah.
I
hear what you're
and
saying.
so the one that got away,
Yeah.
when the one that got away rocks up, my gosh, it is a recipe for disaster.
I beg to differ.
A recipe for disaster in terms of your own internal compass and your internal set of this is where I was.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden everything is just, oh my gosh. But here's the other thing about the one that got away.
Uh-huh.
The one that got away may never come back. Okay?
Yeah.
The one that got away may never come back. I'm just throwing in another angle here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people right now are
afraid.
thinking about their significant others, one that got away.
May they never come back.
They're in church, I bind! So some may leave the countries,
Yes.
and places of immediate environment.
Yes.
But then here's the kicker. The one that got away, the characteristics of the one that got away, the personality of the one that got away, may be developing and being fine-tuned in an individual that may not be the one that got away.
Okay.
And so you will, by chance, meet someone who exhibits the same qualities
Yeah.
and has the same temperament
Yeah.
and has the same characteristics
Yeah.
as the one that got away. That is just as deadly as the one that got away.
Cool. I hear you. And my response to that would be, as an individual, you've got this certain sort of needs.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
You've got a set
Yeah.
Yeah. So these needs go up to about, let's say, 100.
Yes.
And what happens is that we get, and I know people hate the word using settled, but we get people who just give us enough.
For you to get by.
Yes.
Yeah.
You give the analogy about the current car you're driving.
Yeah.
And how it is a very good car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's quite unique.
Yeah.
But it's just not the one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So along comes someone else who doesn't just give you enough.
That's why you wanted to do a part 2 on love, sex, and money.
Like I'm saying, you get extra. So what they do is that they fill your needs. And listen, people, I'm not saying likes here. I'm saying needs. And needs are very, very specific to every individual.
You're right.
Yeah, that's why I said the one. It's not the two.
No, it's the one.
There
It's
are
the
two
one.
people who do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the example you've just given me, or the sort of analogy you're trying to put together, is that you might have someone and then that one doesn't come back. In that case, that person satisfied a certain amount of needs that someone new might exceed or match.
Yeah.
Or exceed or match.
Yeah.
That sort of person.
Yeah.
And they bring in things that you never thought were possible. They awaken things in you.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
And it's sad because the car that you're driving right now has got to a certain level. It hasn't awakened what
Chris,
the dream car will
This
do.
podcast is, I'm fed up. What the fudge? Now doing like some self-help thing, man. Fudge.
Let me tell you where I'm fed up. Corona for me really
I hear
the
it
COVID
made you
thing.
think, huh?
Yeah, it made me realize a lot of things. That what if you've lived all your life with half of what you're supposed to have done, and
then you're annoyed that the environment, you need to be pulling the environment with you, or you need to be pulling the people that are with you
Exactly.
to allow you to do more than the 50%.
yes,
I hear you.
you know how when we started the first podcast, we talked about that. Is that we're middle age, we've reached a certain point. There's certain things that we're fed up with.
Yeah.
Totally. life is not just the sum of little individual things. It's everything.
Yeah,
And it comes
yeah.
together instead of things. So, and love is a very big part of that. We
Yeah.
can't lie to it. And I'm fed up with having to do half measure. I want to be silly like a teenager. I want to feel that excitement that was there. I do really, really want to feel that excitement. And I want it. And I deserve it. But remember I say to you that we're wise enough to know we're foolish. But we got control over it. So we're not going to be stupid and have all these other things that little kids might have. And so I'm pulling this back here and I'm saying, no, I want to feel that excitement. That, oh my gosh. Did it just happen? That moment where you speak to someone for 3.5 hours. And when you go home, you're like, flip, I missed that. I missed that. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Yeah?
Chris,
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
more than understand.
I'm fed up with actually just being mediocre. And I know a lot of people, when they reach a certain age, they think about that and they draw it back and they say, wait, where was my starting point? Where was that moment where I felt totally free? When you reach our age, middle age, there's a lot of burdens you carry, a lot of responsibilities. That's what growing old is about. It's all just about responsibilities. It's not about doing the thing, right thing, whatever it is. It's just responsibilities, right? I got to pay this. I got to do that. I got to do anything else. What you just gave me an example, especially when we talk about love, is that excitement level where, you know, that dial that just goes up. Like you talk about the rhythm meter going up. And
Sorry. I just need to tell everybody I'm quiet because Chris has got me in a state right now. So yeah, continue, Chris. My gosh.
you got to move in that sort of thing. This is where you want to be. Why do you want to settle for something and just cruise through life? And I'm sorry, people, but COVID and the whole thing that's happened around us, I got friends dying. I got relatives dying everywhere around me. And it really made me think about it, that I'm at that age where I can kickstart the second part of my life and go with it. And it's interesting. A close friend of mine said to me, you know what's great about you is we'll come up with something. And the first thing you say is that, let's do it. Nike, just do it. And I like my friend across the table right now because he's got an analogy that I like as well. It's the best or nothing. You deserve the best. So if the one gave you that excitement that gave you over and above the mediocre that was there anymore, why should you ever get fed up?
Oh man, you just said so much. You just said so much, and yeah, there's a man. Okay, here's the deal.
Should there be a part 3?
I think we'll see what happens from the comments below. But I think a part 3 is inevitable. The situation that you have just posed, you know, COVID. I think everybody's thinking with COVID. Everybody's thinking people are being forced to stay at home, and there's certain realities that you never saw. You're like, oh snap, is this what happened?
Yeah.
When I was at work.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things
I
that
don't
we
like this person.
Exactly. You know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because now 24/7 in your space.
Yeah.
In your space.
Yeah.
And the reality hits you.
Yeah.
That, oh snap. Why didn't I see this earlier?
Yeah.
You know, and so okay, why'd you settle for less? Why'd you then get to a funk? Remember, yes. And that one, have we released it yet? No, we haven't released it. The one with the ships. We haven't released it yet.
By the time they listen to this, it'll be out.
Okay, so the ships, the 4 relationships.
There's a Titanic.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, where it's just, you know, the sleep buddy, you know, the fuck buddy, you know, it's just you know, on the, you know, then there's a second one who's a more regular person, you know, a more regular place of release. The third one, your mistress, stroke lover, stroke small house. Those first 3 are easily redeemable, but the last one, where he or she is your girlfriend stroke boyfriend, that one's a deadly one. And I remember you looked at me funny when I said that, and you're like, no, but how can you say girlfriend or boyfriend situation is more intense than mistress?
Yeah. Which can be which you explained to me was transactional.
Yeah.
But
the girlfriend now is exactly the place you were at with the one that got away.
Your needs have been met.
Your needs are being met, and this has nothing to do with a sexual need.
Nope.
It's got everything to do with the sensual, mental, emotional, spiritual need. And that one is the tricky one.
Find yourself doing the most.
You do the the most. You know, I've seen guys bend over backwards for that one that got away.
You know, they ask, what were you thinking? And they're like, I don't know.
I don't know, because you have no clue. But you're just doing the most. Every day you were with that person. And for those that are there, every day you are with that person, it's a new day. It's an experience. So you always do the most. And like I said, it's got nothing to do with sexuality. And so they know the buttons to push, to excite you, to inspire you. And when they go, you are lost. Depending on
ship with no rudder.
A ship with no rudder. Depending on how wired you are, some people can just say, you know what, screw this. I'm going in, and they work. They work their butts out because they're trying to deal with that. Some can take a month, some can take a year, and not a year walking around like a zombie, but a year not wanting to deal with anything in a skirt or with anything in the trousers. You know, you are just in a place of this is me. I'm protecting myself. You'll find those guys will be working their bums out. They'll work 25 hours a day, just to make sure that they guard themselves. And so when somebody new comes in, there's certain things that they will never release of themselves. They'll never give of themselves. They will give what's on the surface. Yeah, they want to eat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, fine. We can go watch a movie. Oh, yeah, this. You know. Oh, yeah, we can do that. But they'll never release of what's within them. You get it? And then, should the encounters go on for more than a month, 2-3 months, they'll be comfortable with this person who's just there. Yeah? And in being comfortable, you tend to accommodate what they do. In the back of your mind, you still have the walls that you've built. Then once in a while, you'll experiment. Yeah? And say something or do something that is reminiscent of how you were vulnerable to the one that got away. And then if the reaction from the current individual is not one that inspires you, you go back into your cocoon. And then you understand, oh, this is me.
So you live half a life.
You live half a life because you've realized this individual is not responding to what I want here in the innermost. But everything else, they're okay.
It's like the car you're driving, right?
Exactly. Everything else is fantastic, but the car I'm driving doesn't have electronic stability control. It doesn't have foldable mirrors. You know, I have to use my hands to adjust the mirror side. It doesn't have that. You know what I mean? But what it gives me now, look, I'm okay. I can still overtake and make people look at me funny that how could my car 95 be outpacing these current yuppies? You know what I mean? And that excites me, you know? And
it keeps you there.
It keeps me there. The same thing with you settling. There's certain things, oh, okay. You never go, oh, I know. Yeah, they do this, they do that. Oh, okay. You know, oh, okay, that's fine. I can.
Should you live like that?
No, hang on. I haven't finished. And so you're comfortable with that. Is the producer still there?
He's taking notes.
So you're still there. Because as far as you're concerned, nowhere else to go anyway. Plus, your definition of the one that got away was specific.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Specific.
Yes.
And for me, that 600 SEL is specific. It's specific. And so you just continue. So when the brown stuff hits the fan, COVID, and you're forced to sit down and think and realize, but this is not what I thought it was. You know, when the reality sinks in, you're like, but what's this? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, that I think those are one of the cool things about Shona. There's certain words that the expression you know,
my wish,
you know, you know, it's like you know, and it dawns on you, oh snap, is this it? And then you start thinking of the one that got away. You catch my drift, and you think. And for me, if we use the car analogy, I just did some research. There's a W140 600 SEL V12 that has 2 turbochargers on it.
Ooh.
And you start Googling and seeing how people have done them up, and you're like, oh my gosh. And the same thing with whether it's the guy or the girl. You start, when you realize, is this what I wanted?
Yeah.
You start thinking about, what if I had?
Yeah.
You know, what if I had?
Yeah. You're fed
because you're fed up because what's happening here is not what you thought would happen.
Yeah.
And you think, what should I do differently
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
And so when the one that got away comes back, or
meet
somebody,
someone
or you meet somebody who has the
needs, yeah.
who fulfills those needs, you like, and so the one that fills your need is the fourth ship.
That's the problem.
That one, that's the one.
That's the problem.
And like I said, it's not sexual.
No, it's not.
It's just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you know, wow, and you're back in that zone of you're feeling like a kid again.
Yeah.
Because every guy, regardless of what he does, he still wants the essence of feeling like a kid. Shout out to all those that are feeling like a kid in their current state. Shout out. But then to those, you're screwed.
We feel like it's a job.
Yeah, you know, it's a task, and yeah,
You know why I say that? Is COVID made me realize that there's enough and there's a lot of problems out there. And if you can get rid of some of these problems and get to a point where
you're
feel
enjoying
safe,
yourself.
yes, yes, like you said, where you can have a silence, you can sit for 3 hours. And I'm not gonna pressure. Do you know what I'm saying? But you're smiling and they're looking at you, and you know both
the
of
few
you.
responses that we got from the first 3, and I realized, we were just making noise and mucking around, but the man people are like, I hear you.
Yes, exactly. They're
I
like
get
that.
you.
They're like that, and you can't say it's unique to us.
No.
It's not. I think we're sharing things that people ask that everybody's got that one that got away.
Oh, and that one that got away knows that they got away.
They don't.
Some do.
Yeah.
No, some do.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. So a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, we had that discussion, and he said he didn't know that person was the one until we sat down and started talking about it. And I said, tell me about people that you were comfortable with. Then he named 2. Then we dove down and said, no, I mean really comfortable with.
There we go.
Then it got to 1.
There we go.
And this person knew that they were the one, and they knew that this person was the one.
Yeah.
But because of their situation, and I'm going to say this, that grown-up term again, responsibilities,
There we go.
they shut it down.
There we go.
Not once, not twice, 3 times they shut it down.
Lionel Richie.
Not once, twice, 3 times you shut me down. 3 times. And he's been not okay ever since. He suddenly realized, oh my goodness, that one got away.
Yeah.
But that person knew more than him that this was a situation now.
Yeah.
That they just shut it down immediately. And I think life is too short to live driving that car that does get you to ABC.
But it's not the one you wanted. But here's the deal, Chris. And I need to just throw this out as a disclaimer. Lest we have pastors phoning us. We're not encouraging people to, do the thing. But we just want you to... No, Chris, no, I'm not putting the disclaimer. What's wrong with you? It's a reality. It's a reality check.
Yes.
It is there. And a lot of guys are scared to admit it. You will go to brides. Have you ever noticed when you go to brides and it's couples, married couples or committed couples, you'll find the ladies on one side,
yes,
and the guys on the other side.
Talking up a storm.
What the hell do you think the guys are talking about? I mean, we're not talking about business and economy. It's like, oh man, anyway, oh snap! I just exposed what we do. But I mean, the reality is the one that got away will always be the yardstick to the current. And it's vice versa, whether it's the husband or whether it's the wife, or whether it's a guy or whether it's the girl, because I will not be naive and think everybody that's staying together is married, but there's always that, there's that significant other. I'm not saying live in a bubble, but understand the reality. And what we end up doing by doing the most is we're trying to to affirm that we are there. And when we realize in affirming that we are there, when we're doing the most, and when we give of what's within ourselves, of what's within our hearts, and we realize, no, and it's not returning what we have sent out, we shut out. And we will concentrate and work hard on all the other issues. But like what you're saying with COVID, all the other issues that we're concentrating on are no longer viable.
Yeah, it's not there.
It's not there anymore. You need to deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's when you begin to realize that, oh my gosh, was this it? Is
That
this
forever word again.
That forever word again. And so when you start thinking, okay, forever, I want to tomorrow, let me correct this, but there's just no zing, there's no zest, because everything you've done before has been met with a roadblock. And it becomes iffy. So when you get to that point where I still have that voice, and when you say, no, it's love, sex, and money, but it's supposed to be fuck love. Sex is overrated, and money is the new side chick. I understand now what you meant by fuck love, because you end up realizing, so what's this love? You know, what's this love? And then you end up thinking of Jennifer Hudson. If this isn't love, tell me what it is. And then you think of New Edition. If it isn't love, then why do I feel this way? You know, and so you kind of like, shucks, and I don't think there's a permissible answer on how to deal with this, because what in any which way that you want to deal with it is going to result in a cataclysmic effect on all parties involved.
Yeah, I hear you.
Now, don't say you hear me. You know. For those that can't see, I think one day we're just gonna have do a video so you can see the expressions. Yeah, he knows. It's going to be mind blowing. And I remember a friend of mine.
But you get to a point, you just don't give a fudge.
Exactly. But here's the deal. I remember a friend of mine who was trying to deal with me because he knew that I was losing it. And then he said something. He said he thought of Humpty Dumpty.
Okay.
Sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
Yep.
All the kings wasn't one of the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. It's not that they didn't try.
Yeah. It's not like they didn't get all the pieces.
Yeah, they got all the pieces, but they used glue.
Yeah.
And they used, and not everybody who puts pieces together. Actually, there's nothing that you can put together that will not have that line
scar
of where the glue is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so because what's going to happen is every time you hold that mug, or every time like your favorite mug is broken, and then you just piece it together with glue. Every time somebody sees you holding that mug, cool. Why don't you just buy another one?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's my mug. Why don't you just buy another? So he says, in any situation, everybody is Humpty Dumpty.
Wow.
Everybody. And he said that to me, and I was like, I knew where he was going, and I was like,
deep.
Shit, shut up. But he hit it. He says, everybody's gonna notice the scars. Everybody who's in your immediate environment is going to say, but why?
Yeah.
And nothing will be able to stop people from pointing and saying, but Ko, Ko is that mark, Ko is that thing. And everybody is like that.
Yeah.
So when you settle now, you then try to avoid a Humpty Dumpty experience. Mm-hmm. So you'll stay there, because you want to avoid it, because there's too much baggage. Do you understand?
I do.
So if you then decide, I'm going to go for it, there's just too much baggage, and it will be a cataclysmic event.
My answer to that?
Yeah.
Put the bag down. And that's a whole new podcast out there, but I'm going to put the bag down.
Mr. Producer, just wrrite down, put the bag down. That's going to be another one, because put the bag down is hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the deal.
But you know what? Let me just, before we because I'm going to jump into something else now.
Yeah.
Before we even go there, I think society has been able to label certain things, and then we follow suit. We don't think about what we really need. We follow on what the populace says. So they'll say, like, exactly how you said it, that there will be a discount when players make 4. And to me, I'll be like, just put the bag down.
You
Whatever it is, you put the bag down.
Chris, man.
Put the bag down. Because I'll tell you what happens when you put the bag down. The world goes on. The world doesn't stop. People died just yesterday, the day before that. They had baggage and stuff. They had things that they had carried. But guess what? Today, the world keeps going. The world keeps going. My fear is never living to the fullest potential of what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be, in any sphere. Not just love, but in everything that we do. And that's the thing, that's what brought us here. That we're really pretty fed up with having to abide to what we would call societal norms.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And we carry this baggage around with us wherever it's supposed to be. For those who don't know and they're listening to the first time, my partner here, Vusa, is a mechanic by profession. But you wouldn't believe it with what he posts on his social media status and what he talks about. Pretty deep stuff. Have you done a course in psychology?
No.
He's into life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, that's societal norm would have said, he's a dirty mechanic, he's got a dirty overall. My partner was watching you as you were working on my car this previous week. My partner is observant. That's what we are very good at. And he sat down afterwards and said to me, now I know what you mean, why you like him. He reminds you of me. And yeah, he does.
Really?
You took equal amount of time on the car as you did on fixing yourself to get ready to go.
Oh, come on.
I swear not, my friend. I swear not, my friend. And I love it. And that's why I resonate with you. You are meticulous. You are very meticulous. And my business partner, I've known him for 20 years. He's also meticulous in certain things. In certain things.
Okay.
His craft, he is. He would delve down and want to learn everything else. He's going to be as dirty as he can be, but he's very meticulous about that. He wants to know the systems, how things work and that sort of stuff. He's meticulous. And he says, I was watching him as he was working, and I was like, yo, this is why they don't like me sometimes. I'm like that. And he said, yeah, exactly.
Really?
Exactly,
I was just working, guy.
Yeah, for you, that's just working. But a typical mechanic out there, come on, guys. They'll stink up your car and they'll leave grease markings everywhere. This dude has got his kit at the back and he's got his kit at the front. The kit at the back is to get rid of all the grease. The kit at the front is to make him feel and smell good as he's going wherever he's going.
I like to say wherever he's going.
Exactly. Or you got places to go. But I want you to understand that so you understand what I'm trying to get to, in that there's societal norms that make us who we are, but you're an anomaly in that sort of space. And
I hear where you're coming from.
I don't want to say an anomaly anymore because I don't think that's fair. You are who you are. You are who you are.
Right.
And of 7 billion people, there's no two like people. You might have similarities, but there's a striking difference in everything else. So when somebody says to me that it's gonna be this way, I'm like, wait, did you like wake up and do exactly what I did, and then you kind of took a different path and you're wearing exactly what I'm wearing right now? So there's somebody out there who's doing a different podcast and saying a different thing out there who's exactly like Christopher. I don't believe in that. I think we're so unique and we're made so different.
So you don't believe in that doppelganger stuff?
No, I just put the bag down. And you know what? People along our age and sort of scenario, a lot of them now becoming aware of that you just put the bag down and walk where you're supposed to walk to and do what you're supposed to do. And that is doing the most for you.
Yeah, I mean, doing the most for you is good. And I agree. I concur with that. But then, like you're saying, societal norms, cultural norms, any other business norms, there's just so much that will need to be addressed when you put down the bag.
Like?
Okay, we won't be cryptic. We'll just be blunt.
Yeah.
You leave, you find the significant other, the one that got away, or the one that is the representative of the one that got away, and you move on and you ride off in the sunset. Hollywood-wise, fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to tell you about the after effects of if there were offspring involved, family and extended family involved, that.
Yeah.
And because of how we are as cultural individuals.
Yes.
And I'll throw this in. It's usually an African thing.
Oh, well, we're African. Let's talk about that.
It's an African thing. Our cultural norms perceive that as, you see, being demonic in what you have done. That is not demonic. Demons are actually angelic. in perspective with what you'd have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get that. All right.
Yeah, culturally.
Yeah.
And so many a time we do not want to address the backlash of the cultural disciplinary action, should we put it that way.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to then just settle. But then what it does now, it pushes and propagates the ships in existence. Yes, exactly.
That's my problem.
And so once the ships are there and the ships are sailing, have you noticed everybody's comfortable with ships?
Yes.
Until it gets to the fourth one.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody's comfortable. No, it's just going out. It's just got
It's a phase. It's a phase. It's a phase.
And they don't know. It's not a phase.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal. Seeing I was talking about being fed up. Here's the deal. We'll use, because we're guys, the guy goes for relationship number one.
Yes.
That
To boost ego.
to boost
Yeah.
ego. The person who he's meeting on the regular may actually promote themselves to get to the fourth one.
True.
Yeah. They may.
Because you make time
Exactly.
to spend time.
The issue is about making time and spending time.
Yeah.
Which is another podcast altogether about space and time. But seeing as how did we start, producer? How did we start? We talk about sex. We haven't even gone to love. What the hell?
No, we talked about love.
No,
We talked
in
about love,
passing.
and we came back to sex. When I said to you, I said, because for me, we talked about love, and it's love, sex, and money.
Yeah,
We just haven't talked about money.
you jumped to sex. straight
Yeah,
away.
because for me it was like, I hate the way, I'm fed up with the way it's been used as
a tool.
Yeah, and it's got no significance in it
Yeah,
anymore.
so-
It's a 2-minute thing and you're out.
Yeah. Then we didn't digress. We had to quantify
Yes.
why.
Yeah,
why
we
it shouldn't
didn't
be
we
2
didn't think
minutes.
we're close.
Okay,
Oh, we
so-
haven't talked about his money, which propagates sex. But anyway.
Yeah. So, where was I? We're talking about how she promotes herself to number
Yes.
4.
Yes.
And how the other 3 are easy to get rid of when
Yes.
you deal with number 4.
It's a factor of time.
Space and I want to talk about space and time, which is something that I'm really eager, Mr. Producer. Remember that I'm really eager on that particular podcast. I'm going to be the one who's going to initiate that one. Space and time are very critical elements in any relationship. Space
Yes.
and time.
Yes.
Having money, having resources, is supposed to aid you in dominating space in order to create time.
Yes, opportunities.
Yes, it creates the opportunity. Money allows you to have those opportunities, to have the space in order to enjoy the time. Now, with the first ship, it's really just time. It's nothing there. The third and fourth, when you're creating time to spend time, what you're doing now is the resources are essential, but they're not essential. The resources are necessary, but not essential, especially on the fourth ship. That's why when you're dating, and when we're talking about the one that got away, what you're doing is you're creating time to spend time, regardless of whether you're a clerk at the time, or a till operator at the time, or you were just anybody at the time. But as things got serious and you're getting a job and what have yous, and then you got scared and you ran away. The next one that came in and you were settling, what you're doing now is you assume that because there's a house and there's a car, you've created the space. And you assume that there'll be time, but there wasn't time because you're not forcing a creation of time to spend time.
Yeah.
And that's why some cultures are very big on having holidays, because you're making a mental thing of creating time to spend time. That's why it's big on that. And I've noticed in our culture, most of the time when people start working, the CEOs and the MDs and whatever it is, they just work. And they don't have holidays. They don't do holidays. They don't believe in holidays. And then they pass it down onto their subordinates. The subordinates don't have to pray before they apply to have leave, so that they can create time. But you're always working. So what you've done, you're no longer able to create time to spend time. And so things fall apart. So what happens now is when you start having those ships, you're forcing yourself to create time to spend time. That's why they become so functional and they become an important part of your existence.
Oh, that's deep.
You know what I mean? So when they become a fixed part and it's something integral that you need to have, you begin to understand the significance of wanting to be with that significant other, because you've made time to spend time and they reciprocate it. And so when you end up having sex, it becomes a celebration. So you find that some guys will not leave that particular person because the celebration in the sex is because they've created time to spend time, and it has happened vice versa. Shout out to those that have it with their spouses because they've created time to spend time, and it's always working, it's always reciprocal. But that is the crucial thing. So when you said initially, fuck love, sex is overrated, and money is a new side hustle, I understand your fuck love. But at the same token, yes, you must fuck for love. You know what I mean? Producers are losing it there. But you know, it's an essential process. Now, the deal is here. Is their celebration of being in assurance of affection. The deal is, and what's bringing us here and what's making us so fed up is the person with whom you're celebrating.
Yeah, that's key, isn't it?
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. Is it the person that you've settled with, or settled to, or settled for, or the one that got away, or the one that is fulfilled or is meeting the needs that you have? Now, here's the deal. I'm going to throw this out. I don't care how people are going to respond to this. But as men, hey, I'm doing the Chris thing now. I really don't care. But as men, we are very simple. We are not complex.
No, we're not.
We're very simple. The internal combustion engine has not changed. It's
Since
still intake
the first
compression.
time it was created.
Exactly. It's intake compression, power exhaust. The only thing that has changed is how it's packaged.
Yeah.
That's it. But the core of it is the same. Is the same.
Yeah.
Now, men are simple. Men haven't changed. The thing is, how men are dealt with is what affects us and makes us gravitate to a particular individual.
Yeah.
And so the ones that you've been with for years may not have dealt with you in the way you needed to.
Yeah.
In as much as they say society is dynamic and things are always changing and what have you, men do not change.
Yeah, the fundamentals remain.
The fundamentals remain.
Yeah.
So when everything else is changing, when everything else is being dynamic and doing all this nonsense, you have remained the same person. You may be the same person. There's the person that had $1 yesterday, is the same person that has $1 million.
Yeah.
The stuff that he can do has changed, yes. But the core is what's there. He's still looking for an assertion, an assurance of affection.
Yeah.
He's still looking for that.
Yeah.
It's just that now there's so many distractions on how it's presented, but the core is still there. So the one that got away will always affect him because she was there when he had the dollar. Disappeared, comes back when he has $10 million. But how she deals with him, she's not dealing with him with a $10 million check in front.
No, it's not.
No, she's still dealing with the guy that had the buck.
Yeah.
That's why it's easy for him to say, shucks. Or the one that meets his needs the same way the one that got away is not seeing the $10 million, but is seeing the guy with the dollar.
Yeah.
And he's like, shucks. It's not about my money. It's about my time, my space, and my time. So you do the most. We're not going to talk about the letters that you've just given me.
Yeah.
Because those are dealing with the most. They're dealing with the guy with the dollar. They're not dealing with the guy that got so many small businesses hanging around. No. They're dealing with the guy with the dollar. That is why we are here. That is why you're quiet today. So you see now. So and that's what everybody's going through. And it's not gender biased. And those are the dramas. You know? Those are the dramas. Sugar mommy, sugar daddy, bless her, all that stuff. These are just people that are looking for distractions.
Yeah.
But the core.
They're missing it. They're missing it.
Yeah, the core. Dude, the core will just get you whipped.
So I think some people are lazy in their relationships.
Don't think. You must know.
Because you know what?
Kujarirana.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I'm fed up with people telling me.
Don't say lazy. Kujarirana.
No.
Kusada.
You.
I love the Shona sometimes. Kusada.
Yes.
Kusada. You know, for those that will listen, they're not from Africa, you know, Zimbabwe. You know, kusada is just a way of saying they don't want.
Google translate that.
Yeah, you know, they don't want. They just don't want. Because what they've done is they're used to you to such a point where they want to control you.
And to me, that's the challenge.
Yeah. And when you get to a place when somebody wants to control you, it's very easy because to each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's third law of motion.
Yeah.
It's not just peculiar to physics.
No.
It's also peculiar to life and emotions. So if you want to control me, they'll get to a point I'm like, no. I'm fed up.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm enough. And so when you do that, and I remember we spoke about it about 2 weeks ago, when you do that, like, I'm enough, there becomes a resentment.
Because they don't know what to do with
They don't know what to do. They're clueless clueless. And because they don't want to do the default settings, get upset.
Yes.
And so they don't know in them getting upset at you, you're like, it's okay. You dig your heels in. And you're
Yes.
like, that's enough.
Yeah.
And because that has happened, you then emit places where you are feeling you want your needs met. And we discussed it last time. Women have, I'm going to use
radar.
women have radars. I don't care how many women respond to this. Women have radars that understand this guy
This
is
is
lacking
what he
here.
needs.
You know?
Yep.
This is what he needs. And 9 times out of 10, it's not sex.
No.
It's, have you listened to me?
Yeah.
Do
Do you appreciate?
you appreciate me? And once a guy's ego is met in terms of, have you appreciated me? That's it. He's gone. And so the one that got away
Knows that.
appreciated those needs.
They know that.
They
Their
know
radar
the
is set on
They
that.
know the one that got away knew it. They just left because you were naive. That was it. And they just left because maybe when you took the next step forward, they weren't ready.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and
Yeah.
they were like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
And they disappeared,
Yeah.
but they were too scared to come back.
Yeah.
Because it's an admission of guilt. You know how hard it is to pay a police fine admission of guilt because he did that kind of
Though I
nonsense.
heard it's easier for you to apologize than to ask for permission.
You see now, it's easier to apologize, but nobody wants to apologize.
No.
Sorry for what?
No.
You have to say sorry. I want to love you. Come on.
I had a friend of mine who somebody walked back into their lives, the one. I think they only realized now that they were the one because of how they were correlating.
Yeah.
And the first thing that the other person said when they came back was, "You are stronger." Now he said he found it very weird that sort of descriptive sort of words, but speaking to what you just said now is they were afraid to apologize of what it meant back then, that this person was at that sort of level.
Yeah.
They suddenly realize it now, taking the blinkers off and saying, I want to meet you on a level playing field. There's none of these distractions that are out there. It's one-on-one. And it became very clear that not only that, but translation, you are the one.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you 100%. We started talking about this literally 45 minutes ago, and I didn't want, because look.
Now you're there.
Ah,
Producer,
man.
I'm going to ask for permission to switch it over, and I'm going to treat you before you start bracing out. The third part of us is money. And you know why? These three all are interlinked in that we look at things like money. It's now seen as it's a tool. It is a tool. It's the thing that you use to get to where you want to get to. But in the relation to things that drive us, is how I don't know. Maybe we touched upon it last time, the last 2 podcasts. It's been so long now. I don't remember.
Yeah. No, money drives us to want to, for the lack of a better word, what was that movie with Will Smith? Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. So money has that false imagery that you're pursuing happiness.
Yes, and it will never be enough.
It will never, ever be enough. Ever.
I had a figure for years that I thought would be enough for me. 2.5 million.
Okay.
And I broke it apart that I would actually be able to buy a certain amount of house for 150,000. And the rest I would actually move and put into college funds for my 2 kids. And then some of it I'll put into an investment fund, which would actually give me like $25,000 a month. Which I thought to myself was more than enough. What would I need to do? I can fly anywhere, sit anywhere. Then I started seeing things and I realized, but the Mercedes-Benz, these new models, they're like 150,000 rands, 150,000 euros. And there's that other property I like to see in another place. Then my needs started changing on things that I wanted to do.
Because society has directed us in that way.
Drop the bag.
Yeah, you can drop the bag, but nobody lives in a vacuum.
That's true. I think we should be. I think we should. I think that's...
You cannot.
That's our biggest issue.
You cannot live in a vacuum because if you stay in a vacuum, then there's certain... If we all lived in a vacuum...
You never go and look for the one.
Yeah, one. Number 2, you will always be in a place of stagnancy.
Won't you be content in a point of stagnancy?
You would be content if you are staying in a vacuum, but you don't stay in a vacuum. Society doesn't stay in a vacuum. There's always something new.
Yeah.
Always. And what happens is the stuff that you do not upgrade, I'm talking about gadgets now, if you do not upgrade, they become obsolete. I'm quiet. My Chris. We don't have another hour here. But, money will never be enough. And I always revert to type. The very first car I drove legally, I have to say that. Very first car I drove legally, dry road tests and all that, driving school and all that, was a Datsun 121.
Classic.
Beautiful machine.
Those are classics, man.
Beautiful machine. And then when I was going for my license, the guy says to me, Shah, I need to go to the shops so I can get a drink, because you're going for a road test. I need to have something to drink while you're doing it. I said, okay, fine, says, but you need to be moving really fast. So he thought maybe 80 would be fast, So I took the thing. Like 120, 130, and I was just chilled. He just looked at me and was like, he couldn't say anything. That's what I'm saying, legally. How I learned how to get there, we'll just leave that to your imagination. Got his drink, got there, got my license. That was it. And so the first car I drove was my mom's car. It was a 1964 Volvo 122S, twin carburetor. The thing was brilliant, 1.8 liter. Thing was fantastic. Hey, Volvo makes them good, eh? And it was rear wheel drive. That was the first car I drove legally. And then I started driving at work. And then first car I ever bought for myself was a Mini Cooper. Didn't move for days. Sold it. Then I got a VW microbus. That was nice. And then then after that I started driving a Toyota Corolla. 4-cylinder 1.5 thing. It was nice. At the time I could throw that thing around. I was feeling like Schumacher every day. And then after that I got a Toyota Mark II. Straight 6, 1G engine. Shout out to Toyota. They make hectic engines.
Yeah, it's a beast.
And it was the bomb.
Yeah.
No one would overtake me.
Yeah.
And I got a free flow exhaust fitted on the thing, so people could hear me coming. And they knew, and the thing in hearing me coming, they heard the sound. They heard, this guy is not driving slowly.
No, he's not.
And for me, I was like, wow, can it get any better? Then I got the Merc.
It got better.
I was like, what?
This has been around?
And then I managed to get my wife a Merc as well. The C280. My Merc makes engines bust.
The best
or nothing. And then I realized the particular model she has that introduced Mercedes into building AMG vehicles for the populace, because that particular C280 was then amped and it became the C36 on that particular model. Hectic machine, hectic engine, that thing. It's for any reason, it just spins its tires. Oh, snap. Oh, she's not supposed to know I was doing that. And then I got this one, the 300. And
yes,
300 SE. It goes for days, and it's solid. And the way I throw it around, it's just fantastic. But it's missing that. There's a thing, and that thing is what? Is power. Now I'm looking for the V8. If I can get a 500 SE, fantastic. Or if I can get the new model, the series that I like, if I can get the 420 V8, then go to the 500, then go to the V12, the 6 liter.
Yeah.
It's power corrupts.
I see what you did there. Beautiful story.
Power corrupts. The same thing. I won't say power corrupts, but you just need to have more. Same thing with money. There's just something with more money. So money drives us for us to be able to do the things that we perceive will make us happy. And I use the word perceive knowingly, because it's all a perception. And because it's a perception, perceptions can change and perceptions can differ. Because for you 2.5 is no longer enough. For the guy who is driving a Honda Fit because he has to do shika moves. For those that don't know what shika is, they just transport guys from neighborhoods into the CBD and back again. That's his job. And he needs to do that hustle every day in order to feed his family. 2.5 for him is, my gosh. And then you got the guy who can't afford that, and he has to ride his bike to and from work in the weather as it is now. Here in SA there was snow. And he's looking for that. So for him, 3,000 is enough for him to buy a Honda Fit. Then there's the guy who's walking, who can't think of a Honda Fit, but he just needs maybe $200-300 to buy a bike, a good bike. Then there's a guy who's in a wheelchair, who's thinking, if only I could walk, he needs a surgery done. Then you have the guy who's comatose.
Neck down.
The works, and it's like, I wish I could walk. So everything is relative, but money then allows you to have those different stages. And so we're driven by it because we want to do it, because society says you must. And you're quick to say, put the bag down. It's difficult to put the bag down because the moment you carry the bag, there's so much any other business that needs you to carry that bag.
How do you make our lives complicated by that?
We do it, wittingly, unwittingly.
20 minutes ago, you
Yeah,
said it. We just said, I'm fed up. I don't want to carry this, do that. You're putting the bag down.
Yeah, you put in
Mm.
then there's just that, you didn't know you were carrying it.
Yeah.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, when I had the Corolla, $20 of fuel was good.
Yes.
You know, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And for those that have Honda Fits, fantastic. For those that are fortunate enough to have the current Toyota Prius, depending on how, tomato.
Yeah. It's forever.
It's, you know what I mean? It's $20 is,
$20 in your car?
$20 in my car. Are you mad? Are you for real?
You can't do your errands, huh?
You,
You can't deliver the post, right?
you can't do the post. You know what I mean? Because, those that have Toyota Vitz and all that stuff, 30, 45 liter tank.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
So amount of time he takes to fill up his tank and leave, I'm double that because I'm 100 liters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember sharing with you the other time, I'm pouring and I walk away. And someone goes, cool. And I said, wait, I'm here. And the guy who's pouring the fuel, he gets to 55 liters. And the thing is still going because the tank was empty. It goes to 60. It's still got 65. And he's looking at me funny. I'm like, no, relax, guy. You're
Maybe
here.
it's broken.
You know? 75. And he's looking underneath, checking, is there a fuel leak? 80, 85, 90, 95. He's like, and the guy's behind me saying, dude, what's the deal? I said, no, I'm here, boss. I'm here. 100 liters, you know, and I'm done. I start the car and I drive home. And that 100 liters is going to last me a week because I drive it like I stole it.
Yes.
You know? But then there are those that like, I wish I could. So he's driven to get more. And then let's take cars aside. Unfortunately, there's that perception of if he's got money, he's a self-made man, he's good to go. So most of these younger types, and there's a coined phrase of the slays, you know, those will gravitate to the guy that has the more money. And so that's why you can put love, sex, and money the same thing.
Yep.
Because if you've got more money, you're getting more sex.
Yes.
And they think it equates to you having more love.
Yes.
Where the more money you make, yes, the more sex, but the less the love. You know, it's just
That's so true.
what's the word they use? It's inversely proportional.
Yeah.
You know,
It's fake.
Exactly. So it's
Fake
easy to get
friendships,
fed
fake
up.
yeah.
It's easy to get fed up. That's why you're sitting there and you're thinking of the one that got away. And then when the one that exactly because the one that got away couldn't be bothered. You know what I mean? You got me going. I told you shouldn't have started this. Chris has not said anything today. He has not said anything today. He's got me going. And so when you then find somebody who exhibits the qualities of the one that got away, you're like, oh my God, it's because she doesn't want your money.
Never does.
She never does
She
want your
dumps
money.
it down and simplifies it.
She simplifies it to, I like being around you.
Vusa.
Unopusiswa zvimwe zvisingaiti but unoziva kupusa kwacho unotosparka unoti wapusiswa on. You're just so excited.
God.
You're so excited kuti no, the producer's not watching. Don't pay. Keep recording. Keep recording. There's no 5 minutes. We're here until another hour. So you get so excited and you enjoy making time to spend time, and then you do the most. And that's where you are at. Then you realize that's when you end up thinking of the Bible when Solomon says it's all vanity.
Yeah, it's all
Everything is vanity. You know, you wake up crack of dawn, you do these things, you're doing it for the most, for where you've settled, and you realize, but I'm not getting the rewards I'm getting. And somebody's giving you a setup of, you know what, I don't want your money. I just want you. Yeah. You're blown away. Yeah. And when the one that got away comes in and just presses the buttons and you break down the walls.
What did you call it once when I spoke to you? It's destiny changing.
It's destiny changing.
Yeah, that's what you called it.
So the one that got away changes your destiny. And you feel comfortable with who you are. And all a man wants is assurance of affection. That's why I said the last time that the one that got away, not the one that got, about assurance of affection, that's where you get the term of mama's boy.
Yeah.
Mama's boy is because mom accepts you for who you are.
100%.
And loves you for who you are. The snot, everything. Yeah. That's mom.
Yeah.
So if you find somebody who accepts your flaws, who accepts the fact that you can get angry, and accepts the fact that you don't like eating this, but you like this, and they adapt or adjust to accommodate you,
Yeah.
but not reduce you or belittle you, or try to word
Yeah.
but they celebrate how different the two of you are.
Yeah.
And you look forward to seeing that person. That's the one that has got you whipped like cream. And so when she comes back, or when he comes back, they don't have to say anything. It's just, hi.
How are you?
You're done. That movie with Tom Cruise where there's some chick, was it?
Bridget Jones, I know the line.
Yeah.
You had me.
Hello. Hi. He goes,
You had me at hello.
That's it. That's it. That's all a guy wants. We're very simple. We're loyal to a fault. That's all. You get home. Oh, I was watching something with Adam Sandler and some chick, and the maid that they got, the nanny that they got was this hot Puerto Rican chick, and he was the boss, and his wife was doing the most. She's the one that was spending the cash. She had the Escalade, and she was just all over the place, and the nanny was paying attention to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he owned a restaurant. He's the one that funded their lifestyle. And then the wife's mom noticed that the husband was being distracted by the maid. Not because the maid
Was this amazing thing?
and they weren't sleeping together.
No.
They weren't.
Nothing.
She wasn't amazing.
No.
She was just paying attention. Then the guy goes, you know what? You always cook for us. Let me cook for you, because the wife had gone somewhere with the kids and whatnot. And he took her to the restaurant and he cooked dinner for her. The maid was just blown away and all that. She knew something was happening. And then they were sitting on a couch, and things got very intense. And then the maid says, I need to get off the couch. And then he was like, no, don't go anywhere. And then she goes, once I put my foot on the floor, this will never happen again. And she put her feet on the floor because she knew where
this was going, yeah.
And she resigned immediately. She just got to the house and she packed and she left. And then the wife saw that there was something going on. And she was losing it, and because she had decided to find a fling elsewhere, but she realized she messed up. She's losing it. She's trying to figure out, how do I do snot and everything? Then her mom said to her, tidy yourself up. Oh, and then the guy comes back, and the wife is like, I need to ask him. And the mom said, when he walks in, just say to him, I'm glad you're back. There we go. Like what I mentioned the last time. I'm glad you're back. And that broke it. And they were able to repair. Problem is, some of the women nowadays, let me say it that way, be very blunt. Some women nowadays, if there's a problem, they make sure that you know that you are the problem. Even though you know you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Though sometimes we are the problem.
Yeah, sometimes, but not all the time. If we're going to use percentages, it's really 60-40. 60-40, 40% you are the problem. 60% is her interpretation of what you are doing, which is totally wrong, because I won't jail you.
But I'm going to throw something right there, what you just said. Isn't the problem is that we are either we don't know, or we never learned how to communicate?
No.
Hear me.
No. It's not that you didn't learn how to communicate. Yeah? You're always emitting a signal. You're always.
So, yeah, but communication is two-way. That's what I'm trying to say. I should be able to receive it as well.
Yeah. You're always emitting.
Yeah.
She's not receiving.
Yeah.
Or it can be vice versa.
Yeah.
She's always emitting, but you're not receiving.
Yeah.
Because of your preconceived notion. And because it comes to a point where, because it's a patriarchal society, the guy is always the one that must make a stand. And when it makes a stand and it is not correlating to the perception that's received from the lady, he's the problem. No, he's made a stand. You walk with the problem. Biblically, there's this thing: women must be submissive.
They don't like that, though.
No, because of the definition that you have of being submissive. Let me give
exactly. Please.
Let me give you this definition.
Drum roll.
To submit is to be in right order. Ooh. That's it. It's not being a doormat. It's just to be in right order and in right standing. You see, the neck submits to the head, not because the head is busy saying, hey, but it's just being in right order. If the guy needs to look left, the neck will support that movement.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's all it is. So it's to be in
they
right
don't like
order.
that, though.
No, they don't. So they don't want to be in right order. So when the brown stuff hits the fan, it's because they're not in the right order. But they're upset with you because you've dictated an order in which one must go. But because they are not in right order, they're upset with you that they fail to understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? So, and then there's always, you're like, what the fudge? You know what I mean? But the one that got away understood. You get where I'm coming from?
This is the thing.
They understood, or the one that is meeting you at your point of need understands.
Yeah.
And so the last status that I sent out, I said, the two ones that I sent, the second one before, it was, when you have to express love by saying it, you've lost the point.
You've lost it.
You understand?
Yeah.
You've lost the point. So the one that got away, or the one that is meeting your needs, doesn't need for you to say anything. They are responding without saying anything.
Yeah.
They are saying it best when they don't say anything at all.
They know.
They know. And that's where the kicker is. That is the fourth ship. That is where the kicker is. You see, so when the brown surface of fan and everything explodes, everyone's like, you were not paying attention. Remember the trip we took to Nyanga?
Yeah.
And to put in context, we took a drive to Nyanga to take a look at some property. And we went to the estate agent. And then she happened to be a female. And then she said, oh, she was in this. I felt sorry for her. And she then says, men just do whatever they want. They just leave you when they feel like it. You know, making us sound like dogs.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had to educate her and say to her, when a man decides to leave, you're actually seeing the resultant. That is not the beginning of the end. He's just showing you that there was an end. But a man lost it a long time ago. If a guy has been having an affair for 2 years, understand that he had the disconnect with his wife 5 years prior to that. Literally years. It's not months, it's not weeks, it's not days. It's not a one-night stand thing. This is the fourth ship. It's 5 years in advance. He disconnected. And it's vice versa. Even with the lady, should have disconnected years in advance because there was no submissiveness either way.
Yeah.
And there was no, like you were saying, communication either way. Because sometimes I don't have to say anything, just do it. And the thing is, there was a time I said to somebody, it's either you're deaf or you don't want to listen. You know what I mean? But clearly not deaf because you can hear me. You know what I mean? So you just do Nike. Just do it. You know what to do. Everybody knows, Chris, what to do. I don't want to lie to you. Don't even
I totally
got
agree.
me.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, everybody knows what to do. So I don't understand why it's like, I didn't know. You know, it's like something brand
It's a
new.
surprise.
No, come on, man. I don't have time for that. You knew what you were doing. But kujairirana, you know, being familiar got you to where you are. And so, when was it? It was last Saturday. When I understood what you meant by fuck love. Sex is overrated. You know, money's the new side chick. I was like, no, man. You do the most.
Yes.
And come on. You know what I mean? What the hell? You know? And then you realize, okay, it's because somebody's not doing.
Exactly.
And in not doing, somebody's not listening.
Yeah.
And
by choice.
Many a time we ask ourselves, and I must throw it out there, before anybody decides to take a short left or a short left or go in a different direction, before anybody does that, they always calculate the cost.
They
Always.
do, right?
They do, always.
They know what sort of bag they're carrying, right?
Yeah, they know what they're carrying.
Yeah.
And so when they decide to go the other way, they know what's going to happen. They know.
They knew.
Even those that are left behind,
Yeah,
they know.
knew.
You know that movie Left Behind, which which talks and kind of makes a movie out of Judgment Day, how
Yes.
everybody disappears.
Yes.
And those that are taken to heaven are taken to heaven.
Yeah.
The ones that that are left behind,
They know.
they know.
Word for word.
Oh yeah, they'll be like,
Every act.
oh
Snap.
shucks.
I knew.
I
I say
knew.
that to someone that life is a series of choices
Yeah.
which then give you experiences. So everything that you're doing is a choice.
Oh, and we
you
know
shout at me, you run away from me, you smell this, you do that, you do everything is a choice. You like you said, you've thought about it and you know exactly what's going to happen. You know the consequences.
Oh yeah, you do.
But you decide to do it anyway.
Because that's how we are.
Yeah.
Because you are looking for an assurance of affection.
That's a wrap. See you next week.
Minus Kwako. Since it was Nokia today, reset has to be HTC, then reset is iPhone, then
Go back to minus. Go back to we're good to go. Where am minus? Go for soon.
I'm just fed up.